You're a member of the police committee, isn't it, in the House?
Yes.
And so this, coincidentally, you are here to discuss totally different things, but now this is happening. When Sowore, for example, said IGP Tenure is illegal, is unconstitutional, you are one of those who amended the law, the Police Act, to that effect. And there was an executive bill from the president, the subsection 8 of that section. What is the position of the House or of the Parliament in that respect?
Well, it's laughable, first and foremost, for Sowore to say that the appointment of the IG is illegal and the IG is acting illegally. It's laughable. It's not, that statement to me was not meted on the Nigerian police force. It was meted on the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Why did you say so?
Because, one, let me talk about my qualification to be here. At the risk of allowing people to misrepresent me as a mouthpiece of the Nigerian police, no. It wasn't an executive bill to correct that impression. 2020 Police Act that was signed by President Buhari on the 16th of September 2020 was a bill single-handedly sponsored by me in the House of Representatives in the 9th Assembly.
So you were behind it? I
was the single-handedly. It has no co-sponsor. It was a member-sponsored bill as a result of Femi Bajabiamila's commitment to ensure security reforms. And I took up the bill, I took up the matter, I sponsored it on the floor of the House. It was concurred by the Senate and signed by former President Buhari on the 16th of September 2020. Was IGP Kayode Omutokuna, I don't even know his other surname, was he the Inspector General of Police when this bill was sponsored in 2020, 2019 to 2020?
He was a DCP at that time, or a
signed
CP?
A DCP and CP. Then why are you personalizing it to the present IG? The reason for insertion, before I come to Sowore's whatsoever, I don't find his statement as a human being making such statement. This bill was signed into law by the former president, not President Aswaju, for people to bring ethnical sentiment to it that it was aimed at elongating or extending the tenure of the present Inspector General of Police. It was signed during Mohammed Adamu as an Inspector General of Police from the north, from Nasarawa State. What was the rationale behind myself and members of the 9th Assembly in ensuring that tenure is being provided for in the Police Act of 2020 that was signed by President Buhari? First, we noticed the provision of the Police Act. It was an old version. It was a Police Act of 1947, before the independent Nigeria, where it was put together, fashioned, and made a Police Act of 2019. Then we said, no, we cannot be saying we want internal security, we want police reform, and yet our Police Act is a Police Act of pre-colonial Nigeria. And now the clamor for state police was there too. I said, let us be very fast in saving the Nigerian people. Let us reduce the number of time if you are arrested from prosecution from 48 hours to 24 hours to ensure people's freedom. That is what, with utmost respect, that man is benefiting today. He's been granted bail because the provision of the Police Act is adjusted. 1. 2, let us remove a bottleneck for women police not to attend to the position of becoming Inspector General of Police. We amended, I totally moved for a complete repeal and reenactment of the former Police Act prior to 2020 that was signed by President Buhari to remove bottlenecks for women not to become Commissioner of Police, not to becoming Assistant Inspector General of Police, not to becoming Deputy Inspector General of Police, not to becoming Inspector General of Police.
So before now,
a woman cannot
become
based
a
on
CP,
based on the provision of the former Police Act.
And a woman cannot be IG?
Of course.
Or DIG or AIG?
The thing is that I blame the police. Because if we have achieved that far, and I was single-handedly the sponsor of that bill that was signed into law. The education about the present Police Act of September 2020 should have been escalated by the Nigerian police to know that a lot of clauses have already been completely repealed and reenacted. I think Sowore is ignorant of the adjustment in the Police Act. It was in 2020, September 16, that it was signed by President Buhari.
How come that between 2020, just for a moment, between 2020 and 2023, there were 2 IGPs?
There were who were beneficiaries of the adjustment in the
But
Police
they didn't benefit from it.
They didn't, they benefited.
You are talking
about one section. You are talking about one section. If you are an IGP from 2020 till this time, let me tell you why it was adjusted. It is because of the frequent changes in the appointment of the Inspector General of Police. That is why the National Assembly find wisdom in making sure that it is tenured. From 1999 till date, we have over 22 indigenous Inspector General of Police. It means that they are changed almost every year. Then we said, no, if you want police reform, you cannot be a president for 8 years, be a governor for 4 or 8 years, subject to your re-election by your own people, and now you have an Inspector General of Police that you have 22 from 1999 till date. Therefore, let us make a provision that it may please the president to consider appointing Inspector General for the period of 4 years to ensure stability, 1. 2, to equally ensure that if you want police reform, you cannot appoint someone. Within 12 months, you remove him. Another person come with his vision. Within 12 months, you remove him. Another one come. Within 6 months, he is retired. You cannot do police reform in that circumstance. And as a result of that, we said, no, let's provide a tenure for. It is within the wisdom of the former president. Perhaps. That is why my own and our own in the National Assembly is to make law for the good of this country. We have done that. If the 2 previous Inspector General of Police did not benefit from that, I think it is within the powers of the executive to ensure that that section is properly interpreted and implemented. I give kudos to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for whosoever that want to misrepresent his action. So for ensuring that...
Honorable, the question is that if in the last 4 years, right?
Yes.
The law was amended 4 years ago.
Yes.
5 years ago,
5
actually,
years,
2020. Yes. And within that period, there have been more than 2 Inspector General of Police. Yeah.
Yes.
But after that law was amended,
yes,
those Inspector General of Police were not beneficial.
I have an institution that was signed in 2020, conversion of Federal University of Education from a status of Federal College of Education to a status of Federal University. A bill also single-handedly sponsored by me, that the process of implementation took Federal Ministry of Education up to last year, September, October, before they moved to change the nomenclature of that.
So it was Buhari that did not implement.
That is it. But
the law says that an IG position should be tenured.
Part 3, Section 7, subsection 6 of 2020 Police Act empowered the president to appoint Inspector General of Police for the period of 4 years. It wasn't implemented. It's being implemented now. Where was Sowore when the bill was signed by President Buhari in 2020 during the so-called NSAS? Why have he not gone to media? Why have he not criticized the provision of that particular clause, part 3, section 7, subsection 6? Have he been deaf and dumb? I expect him as a learned person in Nigeria to have known that the Police Act was signed in 2020, 16 September. Then criticize the provision of the Police Act then. If you have problem with the president, I don't have problem with him. I have met him 6 times only in the course of discharging my duty. I cannot even pronounce Kayode's surname. But let the truth be told. We cannot suffer, go through the 4 angles of teething trouble, push for a police reform that over 89 sections of the Police Act were totally repealed and reenacted. Then somebody will come just today, perhaps because of political conspiracy, economic conspiracy, you will come within the comfort of your fingertip and begin to tweet that the appointment of somebody that the bill have passed through serious legislative scrutiny by both the Senate and the House of Representatives, concord, taken to the president, minuted to the chief law officer, the attorney general of the federation, and it was agreed to be signed into law. Then somebody will just ridicule within the comfort of the angle of his room and begin to insult.
So it's interesting and suspicious, actually, and perhaps the reason why Omoyele Sowore is having a problem with the arrangement. When you had Muhammad Adamu, it was during the tenure. Muhammad Adamu was in office when the police
act during his time.
Then you had Usman Akali Baba,
yes,
who came into office.
Yes.
Actually, because of the amendment of the law, Muhammad Adamu should have left office in 2003,
yes,
2023, yes, because he was in office in 2019.
Yes.
He did not benefit.
Yes.
Came Usman Akali Baba in 2021. He left in 2023, spending 2 years. There is a law saying appointment of the IG should be for 4 years. Yes. Now you have Kayode Egbetokun coming into office. The fact that Kayode Egbetokun had worked with Bola Tinubu when, yes, he was governor in Lagos, yes, is that not suspicious enough?
It is not. Rather, the position of Sowore is suspicious. It's what is suspicious. My brother, because I have worked with Asiwaju when he was a governor of state, and I still serve diligently in the Nigerian police, it doesn't mean if I am qualified to benefit from the position of the law, I should not benefit. If you go by that sentiment, nobody will work with Asiwaju. If you go by that sentiment, nobody would have worked with President Muhammadu Buhari. If you go by that sentiment, nobody would have worked with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Certainly, when Goodluck was deputy governor, certainly when he became governor, certainly when Yar'Adua was a governor, when he became president, he must have had people he trusts that he can assign them some certain responsibility, having become the president. It is not a taboo, because the present IG, at the risk of being the police public relation officer in this program, I don't care how you misrepresent my defense of a bill, of a law that passed through me, through House of Reps, through Senate, signed into law, and somebody is abusing it. I can go to any level constitutionally to stand against that. Rather, what is suspicious is his position. Why wouldn't you ask him, where was he when this bill was signed into law on the 16th of September 2020? Why didn't he tweet? Was he not educated enough to know how to use Twitter or Instagram or WhatsApp group or press conference or Sahara Reporters? He should have been quite learned. I believe in 2020, his Twitter handle was active. What stopped him from scrutinizing that law that was signed into law on the 16th of September? It is now that you want to bring that. Secondly, about the implementation of government policies, we must educate ourselves to understand. A judgment was passed by the Supreme Court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Are we together, Shane?
I'm listening. Yeah.
About the autonomy of local government. Till the time the judgment was delivered up to here, have it been implemented? No. Why? It's a process. A bill is signed today. You want the bill to take into effect tomorrow. Take it or leave it. Former Inspector General Adamu and the immediate past IG would have been a victim of slow guinness of the executive arm of government in implementing legislative framework that are pushed to them and signed into law by them by the National Assembly. That I agree. There could have been politics, which I'm not in a better position to explain, as to the reason why the former president did not give the former Inspector General Adamu, whose time was that bill signed into law. Remember too, Adamu was removed when the president was out of Nigeria, when someone was acting as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, to me, I don't understand the politics that is going on, but I know when you pass a legislation, it takes a bureaucratic process for it to be put together and for implementation to commence. So if they have not commenced implementation, it will not be that it is as a result of sentiment that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in and discovered there is a gap, and discovered there is an act, and discovered the process of implementing that act have been put together, and discovered there is community policing, that before 2020, it wasn't a recognition of any legal framework, but the 2020 Police Act recognizes the implementation of community policing. All those things is a process now they have started. So why should someone not question Sowore? Is that how to pronounce it?
Sowore.
Sowore, whatever. Because I've never taken interest to pronounce his name. Now, could you not have called him, or people should have questioned his reason for criticizing a law that have put in place, signed by executive,
so
on
when
the 16th of September 2020,
when you were pushing,
and it is now that he is talking.